Well, the McDonald family for Easter weekend is heading to Ohio. We had to finish up at the barn first. Had three full sets of trainers today. Now, Mario wasn't here today because he's spending some time with his family. So, we actually took two horses out of the sets. We took Seasons of Love and Jayport Beach Boy. Johnny and I went with them afterwards. James was going down to Mohawk to train Spitfire and Carter with Dominic. So, quite a busy day. The highlight of my day was exactly what I figured it would be, though, and that was at the start of the day. At least the first trip was Brace for Landing. It was, Mary and Jerry can definitely attest to you, it was a chilly morning and a high wind. I had every intention of training Brace for Landing in 2 minutes today, and I had told this to James, and when I weighed the pros and cons, I don't really want to take Brace for Landing down to Mohawk to train him. We know that Stutzman's Training Center, because it's a little deep and just the way it is, it almost seems like when push comes to shove, it's 5 seconds slower than Mohawk training. And again, that's different for every horse, but there was no need. I felt there was no need for me to go to Mohawk. Didn't take her long to not fall asleep. What was it, 20 minutes? I just think Brace for Landing, I still find, is a little bit underweight, but he's a slender type of horse. He's a lanky colt. He doesn't have the same muscular build of Spitfire or Carter Michael Dio or even Crantini. He's got a much more streamlined body, but having said that, he doesn't carry a lot of extra weight, and I don't want to start taking it away from him. So the fewer trips on the truck to the track that he can go. The reason I talked about not sending him to New Jersey for the Sire Stakes, the start of the Sire Stakes, these are all part and parcel to do with his weight, right? So I wanted to keep him at the training center today, and I had said to James, I told you guys, now, in fairness to James, he hasn't gone with Brace very much. He was only judging Brace on last year. He thought maybe he was a little soft, a little shallow, and I told him, much better horse this year. And he goes, well, because Carter and Spitfire were going to Mohawk, he goes, why don't we just send the colt to Mohawk? I said, no, just explained why. I'm going to train him right here. He said, well, how much do you think you're going to train him? I said, I was planning on training him in 2 minutes. He goes, you're not training him in 2 minutes today. We had gone with a couple of sets by the time I went to go last trip with Bryce. It was cold. It was a cold morning. I had my winter gloves on and had a big tall turtleneck on. It was cold. I turned Brace for Landing, and I said, I know it's windy. I'd like to get over the half in 103, 104, go mile in 2.3, 2.4 if you could. Just see how he feels, right? And really this time of year, a lot of the horses, whether it's galloping Patrick de Pirana to decide whether he's ready to qualify, or galloping How the Hell today and last week and in between, just to keep his fitness up without stressing his body too much. I want to see how they are after. And I thought a strong training mile in that wind today would let me know where Brace is at. Well, I got up the quarter in 31 seconds, and he was not grabby, but he was feeling pretty good. Now, it was windy getting to the quarter in 31 seconds, so now the wind's at my back. I don't want to get over the half in a minute. So I grab a hold of him a little bit. I don't want to fight with him too much. I end up over the half in like 102 and 2. We're into the wind. Getting into the far turn, I look down 131 and 3, 131 and 2. And I know where the wind is. I know that the last quarter is probably going to be good. He feels really strong in the face, and I'm thinking, wow, this is some kind of mile this horse is going. We get to head of lane. I growl at him and snap the wheel disc. He goes mile in 2 minutes and 2/5. Like 28-3, 28-4 on the end of it. The horse just looked amazing, and it's very hard to explain to you what kind of mile that was. A very, very big mile from Brace for Landing, and it's not the necessity to go fast today, but it was to stretch him out a little bit and to see how he felt after. He's throwing his head, pulling up. He's feeling good, this horse, right now. I just jog him slow back to the barn, and as we're getting the last set, the last bigger set of babies to go out, I'm watching him to see how he's recovering. He's not even blowing. The horse wasn't even blowing that hard. And by the time I come in, he's eating his hay cubes, playing around after the last set. So Brace for Landing's ready to go right now. I still have not changed my thought process in regards to where he'll start. We have tons of places to race this guy. He's got $17,000 made, right? I just don't think sending him to New Jersey. Now, if he goes out and he just crushes for a while, fine. I suppose I could be swayed, but I really don't want to. I believe right now on April the 7th, I believe that Brace for Landing's first stake race will be the Good Times here in Ontario. I don't really want to send him down to New Jersey for the first part of the New Jersey Sires. In fact, I can tell you the plan I had mapped out for him the other day was the Good Times, then Vernon Downs to the Zwag, the Beal at the Poconos, the New Jersey Classic at New Jersey, and given the fact that he's not a big horse, we are going to try and space everything out so that we have as much left as we can at the end of the year if we decide he's going to go to the Breeders' Crown. Now, that might be pie in the sky. That might be me saying, oh, he's such a good horse, then we go to race him and he's just a horse. The horse that I felt I trained today is a very talented animal, and I like the way he's done his work. The training trip with Horn Player last week was very impressive in the way he went about it. Used to be, he'd look around. This horse still doesn't have a head check on, and won't have one on. I planned to not race him with one on. No, I was going to school him, but again, I don't want to because he's never had a problem with the gait. He's way more intelligent now.
You didn't have to gate twice last year.
Yeah, not on me, he didn't. I've never had a problem.
You were walking across the bridge and nothing was trying to.
That's true. I walked across the bridge that day. I walked back into Canada. But I just think he's smart now. I just want to keep his exposure to the track and to the racing setting minimal. I don't think he minds shipping, but he is a stud. Being around other horses in new settings, it is a little stressful. They do get wound up, squealing and roaring and playing. I just want to keep him under wraps for a while. So I think we will just go ahead and qualify Brace for Landing next week. I'll go with him. I believe we probably should qualify him twice. I guess we don't have to, but we'll make that decision, that final decision next week on if we're coming back for another qualifier. Speed-wise, endurance-wise, I don't think he needs it. But I do want to see how he qualifies before and that's not me saying, oh, I'm going to go qualify him in 54. I might qualify him in 59 at Mohawk. I just want to see him relax, sit in a hole, finish up in a very reserved manner. So this is the first colt we're going to talk about this year, where we're talking about planning. We're talking about this is the path for this particular horse. We still don't have one in place yet, for sure, with Spitfire or with Carter Michael Dio. They trained today in 2-3 at Mohawk. They're a little bit behind Brace. Crantini might even be at par with them, or maybe even a little bit behind them. I'll train him. I might take him to school him on Friday. He's going to need 3 schoolers because I still want to assess, can we race Crantini without trotting hobbles on? Crantini's gait is perfect. His mind is not still. It's good. It's infinitely better than it was last year, but he still hears the voices, right? So do we need the hobbles to get him out of the gate, to get him in the race? I don't know yet. And I'll start to know next week, but I would say next week we'll qualify him purely for the gate. I don't care if he goes in 2-6. School him next Friday, the Friday after, and even the Friday after that if we have to. So I think we'll take Brace and Crantini to Mohawk next week, qualify Brace, and school Crantini. First of 2, probably 3 schoolers for him. So that's a little talk about the 3-year-olds. Let's get into the babies and how they did today. I guess I'll get How the Hell out of the way. I galloped How the Hell again, and I told everybody when I can gallop How the Hell in 59 or 2 minutes and have him come in and not blow a match out, that's when I'm going to snap with the race bike and go a mile 2-3 or 2-4 with him. And I know this just because of the way he came in. Again, 2-2 in the wind today. He finished up his mile strong as far as galloping, but when he came in, he was blowing pretty good. So I think he's a good 3 weeks away from some more galloping trips before we start talking about qualifying. But I can tell you this much: he's sound as a dollar. I trotted him back after the mile. He swung into the trot, and we went all the way around to where Mark Stacey's is. Still strong in the face. It's like fighting with an alligator some days. He's got a real strong jaw on him. Some days he'll behave, some days he won't. Today was a little bit of both. When he first went on the track, he was acting up, and I made him stop and walk off a little bit. Let it be known that I wasn't playing around with him today. And he jogged 2 laps. He was good. I turned him, galloped him, and he was fine afterwards. But I know 2 weeks ago he was a complete and utter psychopath with James going with him, and I can't really tell you why. But I like physically the fact that this horse is now sound. I even had the vet go over him quick this morning. She was standing in front of his stall, and I said, hey, we talked about the left hind was bothering him a little bit last week. We just noticed it. Shelby, the caretaker, had brought it to my attention. I noticed when he turned on the cross ties or in the shed row, he pivoted funny on that left hind a little bit. She thought that maybe his lower hocks were a little tight, but nothing really too concerning at this point. So we'll continue to gallop him, and I stand by what I said. When I can go a mile in 59 or 2 minutes with him without him being exerted too much, then his next form of work will be in the race bike, a mile in 2:3, 2:4, something like that. So those were the aged horses. The first set that went out today, I went with Flash Fly. I won the set with her. She was really good, but I did notice a mark on her pastern when I came in. So I just spoke to Preston, the blacksmith, as we got underway to say that I want to make a tiny little change with her and Insider Trading. It's eerie how similar they are on the track with different body types and different lines outside of Green Shoe. How eerily similar they are. He's really put a stamp on these two for sure. And this filly was good today, but again, we'll continue to tinker a little bit with her. Easy in the turns, Amy thought was good. I know a lot of people heard me say, she was a little flat. Can you go with her? Can you go with her? She's going through a little bit of a growth spurt. I don't see anything wrong. I think she's a little bit off left hind. Her knees are bothering her a little bit, but it's nothing serious. She eats all her lunch. She jogs fine. She looks good. Maybe what we'll do next week, I do have another horse slated over to get fluoroscoped. It may be in our best interest just to send her over and get her looked at, but I'm not worried about Easy in the turns in the least. Every horse trains down a little bit different, and she's not doing anything different than previous muscle mass fillies did that we had. Don't talk about Bruno, lost a toe weight, made a break. He's been about 4, 5, 6 weeks without making any breaks, so we'll give Bruno a pass today. He lost the toe weight before he went out the track, and we didn't have it on the 3-ounce toe weight there. I said, he'll be fine. And I was wrong. He made a little break. James Arthur was good today. The hobbles need to come in one more hole on James Arthur, but he looked very, very good today. Mick Paisley was good. Continues to progress. I didn't get to go with her. I told you guys I wanted to go with her and maybe Easy in the turns and maybe J-Port today. Of those three, I got J-Port done. But Mick Paisley looked better. The only horse that didn't go good in that set was James's horse. James was really angry.
Yeah.
Really angry. It's almost funny sometimes because James is so reserved and patient, and when he boils over, I almost have I want to have a little video camera and watch him throw a little Freddy tantrum, a little hissy fit, especially on the track. I just wish I had a camera just to video him, and then just some nights late at night when I'm having a bad day, just turn it on and just chuckle to myself. That's kind of what... Oh, I'm going to have to take this in a minute. It's the race secretary. But James horse just didn't have a good day, and he'll bounce back. He's just a very rigid-looking animal, and this is Blarney Castle, just a rigid horse. I thought he went good the day I went with him. He's going to have his good days and his bad days, but I kept telling him, we've had a number of these My MVPs. This is not new. I've seen this movie before. You know what? It'll be fine. Don't worry. Set number 2 went out. I cut it out with Insider Trading. She made a break halfway down the lane, but I saw exactly what she did, and it was the exact same thing. There was evidence on Flash Fly of her doing. I watched Insider Trading hit exactly where she never left a mark. Amy said there's no marks on her. I watched her do it twice. She just touched herself down low and kind of stung herself, put a step in, neck stride, went up into her knee, touched her knee. She had knee boots on, touched her knee, got out of gear and run. We can fix that. You got to go right to the root of the problem. You got to fix that.
That was the first time she wore knee boots.
I know.
Head pole.
I know. The head pole bothered her a lot, but she'll learn to wear it. She's fine. The biggest problem she had was that left hind. Same as Flash Fly. All we're going to do is, I don't want to change the shoes on them again. Part of it, I think, is the front end. They both have full flip-flops on a deep track. Cut those flip-flops out a little bit so she can get a hold of the track a little bit better. And then on her left hind, what we'll do sometimes, especially with the horses training back when they're starting to get in a little heavier training, sometimes I'll just put a little shim. The blacksmith, will want to come in and change this, change that. I said, you're going to make it easy. Just take a little piece of a rim pad and put it on the inside of the shoe. So it kind of raises the horse on an angle, just a little bit. And it'll help them tip them out. It'll get them out of there more times than not. You won't see those marks. I won't see her touching there. She'll miss by a little bit, But I'm telling you, when you sit behind the horses and you see what little things make big differences in their gaits sometimes, it really is a game of inches sometimes. So that's what we plan on doing with her. Danny went with Drebin. I thought he finished up well also. I meant to tell him after the mile, Drebin usually gets going so quick down the lane, he blows the turn after the mile, and you really have to kind of slow him down a little bit, set him up for the turn, and let him trot through it. And Danny got to the turn and he made a break, but in the mile he was very, very good. Winter Bells was good. How was she on the right line and on the left shot?
She's still doing it, but she was
What's she
better
doing?
with the head pull on. She lays on the left shaft. Like, can I put a gating strap on her?
No, not in the jog cart. You can blister her though. Knees, hocks, and stifles.
She's been.
Okay, well, keep doing it. She's
Yeah,
another filly. If she's
she's-
going to keep creeping over on that left shaft, I'm not concerned about it, but we may want to have just a little look-see to make sure nothing's going wrong there. But she was very strong today. Hallie in the Clouds was good. This was her first official training mile with hobbles on. She was good. Lonely Lakewood was good. Johnny, I said, how was Lonely Lakewood? Good. He said, I think I just have to reserve myself to the idea that I can't catch up to Winter Bells, who's a pacer. He was behind you coming out of the turn, and it looked like he was going to come to you, and we were pacing through the wind. And he said, I think it would be better if I just, came to the realization that Winter Bells is a pacer and I'm not going to blow right by her late in the stretch. He said, other than that, she was great. And Time is on my side. I kind of lost track of him in the traffic. And I asked James after, I said, how was he? He said, absolutely fantastic. Still a little bit left line. Now, we did opt to put the flip-flops back on him, cut them out so he could grab a hold of the track a little bit, added a left line and a steering bar. Added a left line. Added a line pole on the right and a steering bar, and James said he was better. We may trade that line pole in for a head pole next week and just get him used to it. But he said the horse was fantastic, which is good to hear. It's very good to hear because James, as I said, very reserved in his opinion of the horses. I'm really optimistic, so I think a lot of the time James doesn't want to say one was good to me because then I'll get really excited about the horse. But I'm a big boy. I can get my heart broke real easy and get high in the horses really easy. And to hear him say how happy he was with Time is on my side was a great feeling. The last set, one of the horses that impressed me almost the most today. The last two sets I went with, the 2-horse field and the third set, Ready for Landing, was flying through the inside. I could have blown by all of you had I given him his head, but he'd made a break on me twice doing that. So I just kept him doubled up and let him trot right through the wire. Now, what I thought was the most impressive thing was, like Drebin, he can put himself in a position to over-trot himself in the turn after the mile. So what I did was I just left him alone. He went through the turn, and as he got to the turn, he was smart enough to slow down a little bit.
Oh, no, you're trying to race the drag.
Oh, I was going to go right by the drag, but listen, he's gone by bulldozers and backhoes and cranes. It didn't matter. There was nothing going to scare him.
You know what James calls him? Sipping on my shine.
I know, because he looks like him, but the one day he saw me, he was hot, but he's not like that. He's actually a very, very, I'll tell you what he is, probably one of the kindest horses in the barn, and very smart.
I never hear a word out of him.
He's very smart. Well, you wouldn't hear a word because he can't speak English, but
he's not loud and steady.
but see what I did there? I said word because, yeah. When it came to Ready for Landing, I ended up 3rd or 4th on the inside, but beat 3/4 of a length, and the winner was a shocking win. I told you you'd like that filly. Amy was knocking Rito's Lady before she went out. Rito's Lady beat them. I think what we'll do with Rito's Lady is get her right down to 210 and turn her out for a month, since she's not staked in New York, and I would really like to see the best form of her. How far she came from where we broke her is as far as any horse has ever come. She was absolutely like 1 foot in the trash bin.
Yeah.
1 hoof in the trash bin. She was terrible. And now actually won a set today and looked good doing it. Punched the clock. Her streak of 4 or 5 wins came to an end. Made a break. James had her bottle up, but he needs to put her in that spot. I was happy he did it. Had her bottle up in the inside. She just got a little angry, like a lot of young horses with no experience do, and made a break, but then came back trotting and was flying getting into the last turn, and she over-trotted herself again. But these are things that she has to learn. These are things the other horses had a chance to learn, and she didn't. So I'm not concerned with it at all. In fact, hopefully she can use it as a learning experience. Rito's Lady won the set. George of the Jungle was right beside me. Great bet and watch your mouth. All right there. It was a great finish in that set, aside from James, who had made a break. A great set. All 3 sets were great. Then Johnny and I went out after him, went with Jadeport Beach Boy. and went with J-Port Beach Boy and Seasons of Love, and both of them were very, very good too. J-Port Beach Boy surprised me. I told you guys sometimes when you castrate them, it takes a little time for them to get their bearings and for that steadiness, that testosterone to kind of dissipate. And J-Port Beach Boy, I thought I'd have to kind of rev him up today and kind of, train him with a firm hand, so to speak, and I didn't have to at all. Just tapped him on the flank a couple of times and chirped to him. He looked very, very, very good. Impressive. That's the first time I've gone with this horse. He's got a really sweet gait. I said to Danny, Danny's been working with him, changing his gear. He's done a great job with this horse. This horse looked very, very, very good today. So that was the entire day. I thought both the fillies, the Green Shoe fillies, were good. Flash Fly, again, put in a solid effort. Insider Trading, I already know what I can do to fix her. Ready for Landing, I thought showed incredible poise, which I had never seen from him before, to understand that he could have overtrotted himself, but throttled himself back going into the turn to be in a safer speed for his gait. And that may sound silly to you, but some horses do understand. And this guy had always been really too hot. And now he's starting to understand what his job is. And it was impressive to see that today, because I didn't know when I would. And he's still a stud, so I'm thinking, should I castrate this horse? Is this something I should do? I didn't want to. Pardon me, because he is a 3/4 brother to What the Hill. But he looked very, very good today. Just straight A's, almost top to bottom from all the horses. It's just been a great week of training. Obviously it wasn't a great week overall, but a great week of training. And Brace for Landing, just the cherry on top today. He looked absolutely incredible. So it's nice to see the 3-year-olds coming back good. I know I'm going to have a lot of people say, what about Crantini? Just trained him a mile and a half today, 2:23, I think I went with him. He was good. It's just the same thing. How's he going to be when he sees the gate? How's he going to be around other horses? How are we going to mitigate that? Is he going to need the hobbles? Is he not? Nobody seems to be. I'm not really concerned about the speed. We all know it's there. Mentally, can he make that final leap forward to being an intelligent horse? We'll see. Time will tell. His first steps to his 2023 season will be on Friday. They'll be baby steps. It's only going slow. Brace for Landing will qualify. Crantini will school. So with that, I am all done now. We have lots of horses racing tonight. Excited about tonight's races at Mohawk. Really, really looking forward to them. Oh, I keep thinking today's Saturday. Today's Friday. Gandalf's racing tonight, but I am excited to watch Gandalf race. James took him, so he must think he's ready to go tonight. We will see. I can't wait to watch it. I think it's later on, the 10th race or something. Yeah. We'll be in Ohio, sitting at home, watching it quietly. For you, hope you make it out to the track, and if not, make it out to the barn tomorrow. We won't be there, but everybody else will. It has been a great day in Ontario as we head back to Ohio. Take care.